Pilate is like, well, maybe he is a demigod. Maybe I need to investigate here because he handled this a lot better than I could. Pilate is not satisfied, and so he takes him inside again and questions him. And so then, then said Pilate unto him. So we have this in out, in and out, in and out all night long, and all day long. Then Pilate, then saith Pilate to him, Speak thou not unto me. Knowest thou not that I have the power to crucify thee, and have power to release thee? Jesus answered, Thou couldst not have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. And I can imagine him spitting blood at this point. Therefore, he that delivered me unto thee hath the greatest sin. And so we have to keep that in mind that these judges, nope, they would have no power at all if it were not given to them by God. And so there are differences of sin and differences of judgment. Those who delivered Jesus to Pilate have the greater sin because they had more light than Pilate did. However, that does not exonerate Pilate at all. He is guilty. Verse 12. And from thenceforth Pilate sought to release him. He's like, I don't want to have anything to do with this guy. I don't know what he is. Maybe he is the Son of God, a demigod. But the Jews cried out, saying, If thou let this man go, thou art not Caesar's friend. Whosoever maketh himself a king speaketh against Caesar. From thenceforth Pilate sought to release him, because he believed in him. No, that's not the reason, because he knew that the Lord Jesus was an innocent man. Jesus is now in the hands of a cheap politician, not the judge of Roman justice that Pilate should have been. And that's the problem with most judges. They are just cheap politicians. They're worried about the next election, not your case. So they don't find out the whole details. They break the law too by having it in one day. Not, in other words, you need to find out all the details you can about it and weigh it in truth. It doesn't matter if it goes against the law. If a man can speak, what usually I've found is the lying attorneys. They're all liars. They get you in there, and then they tell you can't say anything because that is not admissible. They aren't about seeking the truth. The judges are not. The judges are about getting the case over and ruling a verdict. The truth should be admissible in court. These Jewish religious rulers are prepared to return Pilate to Rome, accusing him of permitting subversion. That would be treason, and Pilate doesn't want such a charge against him. And that's one of the things I often point out to these attorneys. Well, I can bring you before the bar association if you don't quit lying in court. Pilate will let his politicians' political position overrule his justice. It is a terrible thing. Even today, when government, whether it be church or state government, gets into the hands of men who are hungry for power and do not regard either God or man. And we see that, you know, deacons, board members, and treasurers, we've talked about this, are hungry for power, and they do what they will instead of what God wills, and they dictate. You know, I'm in Timothy now, and he still talks about Thessalonians. Throughout J. Vernon McGee's through the Bible series, he talks about men who that are do their will that are in power